I'll say it now. This may be the last time we talk about the Acolyte.
This may be the last time.
I say that. Hey, I have fun doing this with you every week. I have fun.
Yes.
I hope you have fun.
We're all sensing that, Chris.
The Acolyte from Deadline. The Acolyte canceled. No season 2 for the Disney Plus Star Wars series. The story of the Acolyte will not continue, with Lucasfilm opting not to proceed with a second season of the Star Wars offshoot starring Amandla Stenberg, sources tell Deadline. Word of the decision comes more than a month after the 8-episode first season of the series from Leslie Headland wrapped its run on Disney Plus. The news is not entirely surprising. The Acolyte did okay with critics, 78% on Rotten Tomatoes, but divided fans, which was reflected in its overall viewership. Driven by the interest into the venerable space franchise, the Acolyte got off to a strong start when it launched June 4th with 2 episodes, generating 4.8 million views in its first day on the streamer, to rank as the biggest series premiere on Disney Plus this year. It goes on, and then the series made its debut in Nielsen's top 10 original chart in its premiere week at number 7, climbing to number 6 the following week. And
it dropped out on week 3.
But the Acolyte could not sustain momentum, dropping out of the top 10 in week 3. Week 3 of the series, it dropped out of and staying off before returning to number 10 after the release of the final the series finale. So, Alan, what are your thoughts on this? This is not a shock. I don't think it's a shock for you.
No.
What do you think?
No, I mean, look, they like to blame us, but the reality is, if no one saw your show, no one's going to make more of that show. I mean, this is the thing that I don't understand, or I guess I do understand it from the young people, is that if you're old like me and have seen a lot of television, you're used to your favorite shows getting canceled. And you're used to the reason for it, justified or unjustified. It's happened to us dozens, if not hundreds of times. And I don't know what it is about the youth today where they can't handle a show getting canceled. And when they can't handle a show getting canceled for obvious reasons, such as no one but them watched it. And then let's add on to it the whole, if that fight between Keemer and Saul was the best lightsaber duel since Duel of the Fates, then you don't know anything about good storytelling, and you don't know anything about good sword fighting. The fact that, to think that the stuff you watch now and your favorite stuff is the best thing that ever happened in art ever, just goes to show that we're not exposing our youth to great work. And we need to start doing that. And I'm damned if I will. I'm going to get my daughter to watch a lot of these older films because she needs a better diet of movies.
That may be the silver lining.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, look, I don't think that any reasonable person, even a non-Star Wars fan, I don't see any reasonable person concluding that the show is worthwhile.
Well, it did
deserve to fail.
Let me just insert that to drop off the top 10 on the 3rd week shows that the first 3 episodes didn't hold any attention, and that people knew that this was not a show worth following.
Yes. And so we should seek out things that are better. That's why you, that's why you subscribe to this channel. You can hear about movies like Strange Darling, which we'll talk about on Friday. Or other indie movies that we discuss, or television shows. We want to point to and celebrate media worth celebrating. Sounds like something Kamala would say. I used the same word in a sentence twice. But no, we want better stuff. Mm-hmm. How do we get better stuff? Talk about the stuff that's great, and really the stuff that is not. It needs to be pointed out.
Yeah. And it also shows the fact that the youth today, the emerging artists, storytellers, and directors, have no clue what they're doing. You know, to think that this is a great show and to go in and tout it as a great show and is the best thing ever, it tells you that the state of the future of television is in not good hands, is in bad hands. Sorry to be so blunt.
No, well, but look, you were the canary in the coal mine. Mm-hmm. I received on a weekend, and Alan and I, we talk during the week. We usually don't chat on the weekends. I like to give Alan his space. I don't want to be a chatty texter always. I knew it was serious. You texted me on Saturday and you said Star Wars is dead. And then you proceeded to tell me about episode 3 of The Acolyte. I couldn't believe it. And I had access to the early access to screeners. Yeah. I watched all the episodes on that Sunday based on what you said. I could not believe what I saw. Mm-hmm. And then we talked about it that week, but you were the canary.
Yeah. 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 I went on a Twitter rage or an X rage after. Yeah. Yeah.
And here we are at the very end. The beginning was our early review. The end is, my God, that's over. It's canceled. What do you think this means for all the creatives involved? Like, does this hurt Leslie Headland? People in Hollywood tend to fail upwards.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to fail upwards.
Yeah. I mean, this exposes her weaknesses, which seems to be everything. You know, in terms of, I mean, look, she had success coming into this, moderate success with, was it, I forget the name.
Russian Doll.
Russian Doll.
Russian Doll. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. It again, it makes me wonder what is happening in writers' rooms. What is happening behind the scenes in Hollywood today? And what is happening? And I mentioned this too many times, but what is happening in college? In the institutions of learning where they're supposed to be, you know, honing their skills. I mean, I know what it is. When you go to school, you're supposed to look back in the past and see what was great and how stories were being told, and kind of critically think about it into your own style. You know, do I want to be Francis Ford Coppola? Well, what did he do right that I can apply into my own craft? And I don't think they're doing it. It's almost as if what will be has been unburdened by what has been.
Well, we will not be burdened with more of The Acolyte, and that's this story here was put together. It's a montage of reactions to The Acolyte getting canceled. This is from Steph at My Nerdy Home. Hey, Steph, thank you. She put together this montage. It's a little over 2 minutes. We'll play this montage here. Alan, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, wait, let me back it up. Here we go. We will watch this together and get more of your Acolyte comments after.
So The Acolyte was canceled.
It's definitely because incels didn't like 2 people of color holding hands. We're not going to forget that.
They've hit the second tower.
It was set up to fail from the beginning. When The Acolyte was first announced as a female-run show with Leslie Headland at the helm, starring a black femme and a diverse cast of characters unlike we had seen in a Star Wars project before, the review bombers took to the internet before the show even had a chance to air.
Is it worth the price?
I understand that it got review bombed to an insane degree by so many people who were hating on it just because of what seemed like internal prejudice.
Amanda Stenberg, who not only gave a phenomenal performance as Osha, but also as her twin sister May, had no choice but to stick up for themselves and defend herself against the vitriol and bigotry that she was receiving because Lucasfilm did not protect her.
The supposed Star Wars fans were divided, and by that I mean incels of the internet and of Twitter.
Managed to pull off enemies to lovers so well.
Lucasfilm didn't do anything to protect the cast and the crew of The Acolyte.
Why can't the girls have fun things for the girlies? Why?
but it just shows how fragile you guys are to storytelling.
And it was for the girls on board.
Leslie Headland was so dedicated as a fan of Star Wars.
So when Mother Anicia says this quote, and the whole show is literally about people of color.
Ask me what I'm about to do. I'm about to cry. Thank you for asking.
I don't care about what the incel said.
You guys bullied Amanda Stenberg so bad.
The Acolyte, it was kind of to be expected, considering how it is set in the universe that has, if not one of the, then the most toxic fan base like ever.
To receive this news, I like him.
I am mourning the fact that we're not getting any more Khmer edits because we're not going to get any more source material.
What do you mean? It wasn't bringing in the
The viewership was not bad. The precedent this is setting is very scary and very concerning. What Lucasfilm is doing with this decision is allowing the bigots to win, allowing the bigots to run with this and decide, even if that's not the original intention of canceling the show, that they have won, that they are correct, that Star Wars needs to be white and male, and it can't be anything else.
Okay.
By the way, let me address review bombing.
Please, I have a couple thoughts. Go ahead, Alan.
Okay. Review bombing. So when the Acolyte first came out, I believe it was 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Review bombing? Right. I mean, I would say it was the exact opposite of review bombing. It got a score that it didn't deserve. Even if it was an average show, it wasn't going to get a 98%. And now it's at 78. But right. Review bombed, and oh my gosh, I don't know what it is about this show that made these people melt down like that, because their shows have come and gone for the last 100 years.
Because society has been infused with bad ideas. The bad idea is this: a character that I see on screen must look like me in order for me to identify with that character. I mean, I'm not a woman, but I identified with Ripley from Alien, identified with other female characters I've seen in films, or characters that were not white. There were black characters that were great characters. I don't need to look like someone on screen to identify or empathize with the protagonist. And we've been taught this terrible idea that in order for us to have empathy for the lead character, they must look exactly like us. Play a video game where you can design your character. And if Osha and May were really well-rounded, amazing characters, you would have been all on board with them. All on board with them and what they were doing. And it would have been, look, Princess Leia is a really great character. You know, there are other great female characters in Star Wars. This isn't new. And I'll tell you how the Acolyte could have been successful. I'll tell you right now. Instead of making what they determined to be a narrow, you make the exact same show, the same script, the same actors, you make it for 18 million instead of 180 million. And you know what? It would have been a success. You scale the budget for the audience that exists. What this show proved is that this audience that claims to want this stuff, it's a small audience, maybe even less than we initially thought. This is a very, very, very tiny audience. Make shows for them, but make them at the budget that would make it make sense. Final thoughts, Alan, will go to comment.
Yeah. Well, I'll piggyback off what you said. This is a bad precedent. Why? Because people of color, A, can't stay on budget, and B, when given that budget, don't know what to do with it. And this is what the story you get. And you're right, it should have been 18 million. If it was spent, they had spent 18 million on it. They should have spent less than that. If they had spent less 18 million on it, it probably would get a second season. But the thing is that look, I'll say this: the Acolyte got a bump in episode 3, and that was because of us. we were the best promotion for episode 3 of The Acolyte than anything Disney could have thrown out there. And we actually caused a rise in it. And because the show itself, the story itself could not sustain itself, it imploded and it went downhill from there. And that's the only thing you can say as to who was right about the quality of the show. People just didn't watch it. Because if it was as good as you say, and if, why didn't the Black audience, seeing themselves on screen, why didn't they support the show? Because they knew it was crap.
Well, you know what? We're also not going to get more Acolyte toys. Here they are.
Oh,
for $19.99, you can get a Jedi Master Soul lightsaber and the other Acolyte toys. Right now, they should be flying off the shelf because they are collectible. And this will be a footnote in a couple years, maybe even less time. It will be a footnote that, hey, remember that series, The Acolyte? Do you have any Acolyte toys? I'm serious. These will be rare. They may end up being collectible. The toys. Let's go to your comments.
Hold on. Let me just show you one more toy thing here.
Please.
So this is so Walmart is still pre-ordering Acolyte action figures.
They're on pre-order.
They're on pre-order still, and unfortunately, Jackie has been down priced to $19.97 instead of the $24.97 that the rest are getting. Yeah, looks like this OSHA action figure was $30. Now it's $25. So look, it's still on pre-order.
Wait, Alan, I have an idea. Chat, and I'm not making a joke. Film Threat will do season 2 of The Acolyte with action figures.
You gonna buy all these?
ChatGPT will write the script. You think I'm joking?
I don't think you're joking.
Glenduccio, we will do a short series, season 2 of The Acolyte on the Film Threat YouTube channel, done with action figures and AI. That's a good use of AI. In the chat, tell us if this is something you wanted us to do. Atomic Glory, let's do a poll. Should Film Threat make season 2 of The Acolyte with action figures and AI? Should we do it?
Well, here's the problem.
The response is overwhelmingly positive. I will green light.
Okay, so here's the problem. Here's the problem you're running into.
Alan, I'm as serious as a stroke. I'm telling you right now, I'm serious.
That's why you're not thinking
Atomic Glory. Let's get the poll in there, and we will abide just like we did Critics Court, just like we did the funeral. We will do season 2.
Yeah, but you're forgetting only three of the characters survived.
No, it's science fiction. They brought back Spock. They brought back Spock. I'm bringing back Jackie. I'm bringing back Master Torben. Season 2 of The Acolyte is coming to Film Threat.